just shy of $1 billion. The Powerball drawing tonight is worth well over $600 million. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox.
Lawrence County depends on WDXE News, on the air since 1951. This is The Legend. 105.3, 95.3, WDXE.
Yes, indeed. That's us, 95.3. And WDXE, that's us. And, of course, we are here with friends and neighbors. And my friend and neighbor today is Miss Charrie Plant. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm really good for this time of morning.
I got you up early.
You did.
And you know what? Thank you so much for coming on short notice, too, because I only just talked to you yesterday evening.
It's okay.
And you were gracious enough to make it in this morning. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. And you played Word of the Day with us, which, by the way, is worth getting up for.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Very good. Very good. Well, Miss Charrie Plant, of course, you have been involved for quite some time with the Crockett Theater. And are y'all still known as the Friends of Crockett Theater, or how does that?
Our official title is the Crockett Performance and Visual Arts Society.
Oh my goodness!
That's
okay.
a mouthful. That changed about 2 years ago.
Okay.
We were formerly known as the Crockett Theater Board, and we just kind of still call ourselves that, really. But we are separate from the city.
Yeah.
And our main goal with that group is the performance series.
Okay. Well, you guys have done a great job bringing a lot of great performances to the theater.
We've had fun.
And of course, the old Crockett Theater is such a wonderful asset to our community, for one thing.
Absolutely.
It really, really is. I've got to travel quite a bit in my life, and not every town can have a place like that, or does have a place like that.
I don't know of another theater that's anything like the Crockett Theater.
Yeah.
Anywhere around, at least not as big.
Yeah.
There are wonderful theaters throughout Tennessee.
Yeah.
But this one, and I don't know why this one is the size that it is.
Kind of special, isn't it?
For a small town, because when it was built, the town was certainly not as...
Yeah, you and I were talking about that off the air.
As big.
And you and I were talking about that just before we came on the air. You think it was built when, around...
Well, I think it opened around 1950.
Okay.
Could have been late 1949, but sometime around that, that year, as a movie theater.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then over time, eventually the movie theater closed, and I think the last movie I saw was Gone with the Wind.
I remember going to see Gone with the Wind at that theater.
I think that was the last one I saw. I don't know if that was the last movie shown, but that was the last one I saw.
That wasn't the original release of the movie. That was a replaying of some time or a special event deal where they had Gone with the Wind. And I remember going.
Yeah.
And it was great to see on the big screen.
Oh, absolutely. It really was. And it was open on Saturday morning as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was at the time that it, right before it closed or not, but they would do Western movies on Saturday morning.
Well, a lot of us grew up getting to go see movies. Getting to go see movies at the Crockett Theater.
That was our
our
time out, away from home. So very very special.
It was. Well, of course, times have changed, and
yes.
And the Crockett Theater now, we don't have movies there so much, but we do have wonderful performances, and you've been a part of that, I guess, since the get-go, really, as far as that kind of stuff.
A long time. I've lost count.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about the people, other folks that have been involved with you here in the community.
Well, the people on our board, this board has been in existence for a while, and was before I ever got on the board.
Yeah.
Wanda Mabe is the president, I guess you would say, or chairman of our board, and she really knows a lot about the history of the theater.
Yeah.
But we were tasked with trying to maintain, fix whatever needed fixing, do whatever needed doing along with the city, in conjunction with the city. The city owns the theater.
Yeah. Do you remember when that happened? I think the city took it at some point.
I really am not sure, but I think the city bought it so that it would not be torn down.
Yeah. I'm so glad they did.
Me too.
I'm so glad they did.
Me too.
Maybe not everybody would have agreed with that, but I think it's such an asset to the city and to the community. And we just love going to the events.
It's just a special place, and originally that stage was not there. I mean, it was
right.
very, very small stage for to show a movie, and it was built out so that the symphony could come.
That's right.
And perform.
I remember their first performance, the Nashville Symphony. When they first came, and I want to tell you a true story. I had never been to a symphony orchestra of any kind. Always wanted to.
Yeah.
And when they came to the Crockett Theater here in Lawrenceburg, I'm telling you, the first note, it teared me up. First note. Because you could feel it. It was just unreal.
Yes.
And so anyway, I hope we can bring them back one day.
Well, at that time, the symphony players were part-time. It was not a full-time
right.
Job for any of them. I think now it probably has to be because there are so many events that they do,
they do.
there. And they did a little bit more traveling out into the community, because they had the time to do it. But
Our next event, or next show or performance is, we've been talking about it, William Lee Golden and the Goldens. That's coming up on Thursday, April the 11th.
We're excited.
Yeah, we are. And listen, I think I got we can see maybe a picture right there. You can see a little bit of a picture right there maybe with it. Of course, Mountain Man, I got to talk to him yesterday, and we're excited about getting to see him on the 11th. So we want to talk about that just a little bit. How did that come to happen?
Well, I just I saw that they were playing a show in Franklin, and got somebody to go with me, and we went to see their show. We do this. We like to see the show before we or really just know about it.
Yeah.
Before we have them here at the Crockett Theater. So went to see their show.
Yeah.
Really liked it, and I've seen it twice.
Oh, really?
I've seen the show twice, and it's a great show. And
he talked like they performed for 2.5, 3 hours.
They go about 2 hours nonstop.
Wow.
And so it's a good show. Now, some of them, there's a pretty good sized group. Two of his sons perform with him, and granddaughter who plays fiddle and sings, and is absolutely marvelous. And sometimes grandson joins them, but the show itself, it reminded me of sort of like an opera-style show where, you'll do this song, and then maybe a player or two will walk off the stage, and they'll do something else, and then they'll come back, and so some of them are kind of in and out. So it's about 8 to 10 players.
It's a big band.
It's pretty big, yeah. And they do, surprisingly, you would think that it would be basically country gospel style, and they do a lot of that, but they do other things too.
I've heard some of them.
When William Lee Golden sings "What a Wonderful World,"
oh wow,
it's just
I bet that's moving.
It is.
That's great.
So
that's great.
It's a good variety of music, for the show.
Well, that's awesome. Well, make sure you get tickets, by the way, and you can do that. You can do that by actually, you can just call 762-4231, or you can go to lawrenceburgtn.gov and visit the site, lawrenceburgtn.gov. We'll get you there. And if there are any available, you can get them at the door that night, but I would get my tickets ahead of time.
Well, this one is looking really, really good in terms of sales. There are good seats on the side sections.
Yes.
The center section's pretty well
filled up.
pretty well full.
Yeah.
but there are good seats on the side sections about halfway back, and so I would recommend really for this show that if you want
Get your
to
tickets early.
get in, go ahead and get your ticket. You could go up to Parks and Rec, and they can take care of you. you know,
Okay, so at the Parks and Rec, you
Parks
get 'em?
and Rec office.
That's
It's
right.
the back gym area back there in Rotary Park.
Very good, very good. Well, we'll come back to that maybe before
Okay.
we wind up the show. But you know, my program here on Wednesdays has been called Friends and Neighbors, and we do try to get to know folks better. And of course, I have known you for a long, long time, and I've also known Paul for a long, long time. He and I have been in Kiwanis together, and of course, we work together some because of real
Right,
estate transactions, that kind of thing. And he's been a great friend to us, and of course, you keep him in line. Is what I understand. That's what I understand.
That's what you've been told.
That's what I've been told. Yes, that's what I've been told. But I wanted to kind of get your family background and history because you were a Harwell.
I was.
Before.
Wasn't am.
Was an am. That's right. Was an am. And so as much as you can you give me a little bit of your family history and how they, if you know, were they native to Lawrence County or did they come to Lawrence County? And you can go back as far as you like because I really don't know how to ask.
I understand.
understand?
It's complicated.
Yeah, well, tell me how the Harwells became part of Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County, and a little bit of history.
Well, I'm not sure exactly where they came from,
Okay.
but they came to Tennessee. My dad and his parents. My grandmother Harwell was the first. She was actually born in Tennessee, so she was the first baby girl in their family to be born in Tennessee.
Okay.
Now, when I say the Harwell family, I don't just mean my dad's,
Right.
family, cousins, their brothers, my grandfather's brothers and sisters, and all of his cousins, and they kind of got to Tennessee, and then some of them went to South Carolina,
Okay.
and some of them went to Texas,
Okay.
and my grandfather stayed here,
So your dad grew up somewhere in Tennessee.
Etheridge.
Etheridge. Okay. So they landed in Etheridge, and your father grew up in Etheridge.
Right.
Very good. And he became interested in law at some point.
He did. He went to Cumberland Law School.
Okay.
At that time, it was in Lebanon. It is now on Samford University's campus as part of their.
Okay.
It's Cumberland Law School of Samford University in Birmingham.
All right. And I'm sure, like most
Yeah.
everybody else, when he was growing up and his family, they were farming.
Both sets of my grandparents grew cotton
Cotton. Okay.
and other things, but big.
So work cotton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever have to work cotton?
I didn't have to. I picked just to say that I had
There you go.
picked it, but
That's kind of like me too. I did pick
I
cotton.
thought,
a
oh,
time
this
or
is
two.
going to be fun, and
It wasn't fun.
no, it is not fun. And I picked it a little bit, just to see if I
Yeah.
could or say that I had. And,
Yeah.
And what was so amazing is those big old sacks that you have to, you
Oh
have
my
to
gosh, yeah.
throw one side of it over your shoulder and you drag it along the ground as you pick.
Yeah.
And some of those people could pick like 80
Oh, I know.
pounds of cotton, and
I know.
you think about dragging 80 pounds
Yeah, through the cotton fields.
through the cotton fields,
Yeah.
but cotton was big then.
Well, it was, and it as far as hand picking, that was on its way out when I was young, because they had the the machines began to take over and do it. So
Well, and cotton really is kind of coming back in Lawrence County now.
yeah, I began to see some. Last year, got to see several fields of it. Yeah,
There's nothing prettier when
yeah.
those cotton fields
Yeah.
open up.
that's the reason why that song was written. Cotton Fields of Home. Yeah, Yeah, very good. So your dad went to law school.
Yeah.
And now, do you know how and when he met your mom? See, I remember your mom, but I don't remember your dad.
She was a Perry, and the Perrys There are Perrys in Lawrence County, and then but they came up from Alabama.
Yeah.
So, and there's still some in Alabama, and that's a wide group of people
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
just
right.
a lot of them.
You're right. You're right.
I don't know exactly when they met, but they married shortly after my mother graduated high school.
Okay.
And then he went to law school.
Okay.
And she worked, while he was in law school, and
Yeah. And then he eventually became Judge Harville.
he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Now that was a little before my memory time, I guess. But,
Well, it's the same setup, circuit judge.
Yes.
And we're fortunate enough to have, I think, two in Lawrence County. The district, I think, still involves Murray, Lawrence, Giles, and Wayne County.
right.
So he was judge for a while and then retired. And at that time, salaries weren't nearly
They weren't as great as they are.
no. But that there were state benefits, for
Yeah.
that. But
Well, now I guess I jumped ahead a little bit. Now, did he practice law? I guess he did.
He did practice law
before
yes,
that. So,
yes, quite some time.
So he was a lawyer here in town.
He had a law firm with Bill Boston and Jim Weatherford.
Okay.
And Jim was a judge as well.
Yes.
At the end of his law career,
Yes.
and then he was in single practice for a while. And then when Paul went to law school, my brother-in-law Mike Bottoms as well
Okay. Yeah.
went to law school, and then Paul went to law school, and so they both came
Both came to work with your dad.
came to work with him.
Yeah.
For a while.
So he got to rule over his son-in-laws for a little while. That would have been. See,
Yeah.
I have a son-in-law. Maybe I don't need to touch that too big.
yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, honestly, I've always kind of admired our community here a little bit about things like that.
Well, he was a good mentor, and and I really feel that no matter what you're doing, it's really good if you can have a good mentor to
Yeah.
help you along the way and help you get started, and
Yeah.
you
Two
know
things: you've got a good mentor plus a family member,
right.
which you have that combination. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real good. Of course, I was saying there that we have a community here that's kind of close, both with friends and family. And
Right.
I have this friends and neighbors, and I've always told people that I've got a little bit of a Mayberry mentality about us. I like our community and I like our people.
Right,
And
I do too.
And we've got we got family members. I had Johnny Fleeman in here the other day, and they have worked together as a family a lot.
Right.
And so you've kind of experienced that.
I have. I've grown up in a lawyer's family.
Yeah.
Married one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now Paul was a teacher before.
That's right.
Before going to law school, and then I had been teaching. I taught 32 years, and I started out teaching music, then got certification in elementary education, and then taught that.
Yeah.
Second, third grade.
Now, which
Loved it.
school do you spend the most time with here?
Well, for music, I was traveling. I was one of those traveling music teachers.
right.
And eventually, I had every school in the North End and the middle section except David Crockett. I never had David Crockett School, and I did not have the South. Someone else had that. And then when I was doing elementary education, I started out at Lawrenceburg Public.
Okay.
And I was there most of the time,
Well,
throughout.
let's talk about you teaching music for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, because I know that is near and dear to your heart. You love music.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah, and you not only love music, but you're very talented.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Beautiful piano players and pianist. But not only can you play well, but you know music. And there's I do not know music. I listen to music and love. I'm eclectic in my listening, but I don't know music, and I've regretted that. I didn't. If I had been in your class as a student, I wouldn't have learned much because I just didn't. I didn't get it.
Well, elementary music education was really just about experiencing, various forms of music. And, we weren't trying to teach them how to read music or, we weren't getting that specific with the music, but it was a way to experience things. And music is a great teacher of a lot of things, whether it's math, science, whatever.
Yeah.
And language,
Yeah.
And music is a great way for children to express themselves
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
we just tried to, approach it from that standpoint. And now, if you had a choir or something, of course, you got a little more specific about it.
Yeah. There are a lot of benefits to music.
Music there are statistics. I'm surprised I could even say that word. That show that music is a great teacher of a lot of different areas, and it's a way to get through.
Are there any memories that stand out to you that maybe you think about? And I know I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but where you think that music has kind of opened up someone, a student or something like that, and kind of moved them along, that kind of thing. You've probably seen lots of examples of that.
Well, I would go into each classroom. In fact, I remember in certain schools where it was possible, because I didn't have a room, but at most places.
Right.
Sometimes I did, but sometimes I didn't.
Yeah.
So I would push a piano,
Really?
through the halls into the rooms, and, I got pretty good at it.
Yeah.
It was on rollers, of course, but I would push that piano, and, we used a lot of rhythm instruments, and tried to get children to experience their voices and learn about their voices, and hopefully do it in a fun way. Although, just having fun was not the objective, was not the goal, and but we tried to just get them to experience music by doing different things with it.
Well, if they enjoy it, that. And, and I can't imagine. I know that if I'd have been in the classroom and seen someone rolling in a piano, I'd think, "All right, this is going to be fun." And I bet you brought a lot of joy into a lot of kids. Really,
it was fun,
and I'm serious
fun.
about that.
And my car, of course, was my office, so to speak. So it had
you had a lot of miles.
You had everything you could imagine in the back end, So,
you had a lot of miles as a music school teacher.
That was early on, and then got involved in elementary education and enjoyed that too. So.
What did you teach?
Mostly third grade.
Oh, okay.
So everything.
Everything.
Back
when the teacher taught everything.
Teacher taught everything. Right.
That's good though. Sometimes I wish we had the old traditional classroom with a chalkboard and everything. It's almost it's not like that anymore.
Well, and we had books, and I understand. I understand there are different technological. Apparatuses for teaching, but I loved books and loved for children to see books, and I really enjoyed. It was called social studies in elementary school, but it's basically history of.
Yeah. You know what I think when I talk to you and Paul for that matter, but you have been so involved in the community from teaching, from your family, You've made yourselves a real part of the community.
Well, we love it, and we just love doing
Yeah.
doing things in the community.
Yeah.
So
Stayed active, stayed involved, and helped move education along. And that says a lot about you as a person. And it says that you care about people.
I do. I love people. I love being around people. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not an exceptionally outgoing person, but I love talking with people
Yeah.
and being with people, and
Yeah.
I'm a lot better at that now than I was. But I was very shy.
Yeah. Yeah. So you grew up here in Lawrenceburg.
I did.
When did y'all move out on the hill out there by the hospital?
I think I was going into 7th grade.
Okay.
And we had planned that move, before 7th grade started.
Yeah.
But at the time, I went to Ingram South School.
Yeah.
We lived on First Street. And there was no 7th and 8th grade there at the time. And the
Okay.
year that we moved and I went to Lawrenceburg Public for 7th and 8th grade, they added 7th grade at the other schools,
Okay.
and I think that maybe the next year they added the 8th
Okay.
in the other schools in town.
So what was life like growing up as a young girl?
Just normal things. Went outside and played.
I know you had sisters.
I have 3 sisters.
Yeah. Any brothers?
No,
All sisters.
all sisters.
Yeah. Did y'all get
Yeah.
along? Did y'all get along well?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
2 of us always could get along.
Yeah.
You add the 3rd one in, But now my youngest sister, Katie, was a month old when we moved
Yeah.
to out on the hill, as you say.
Yeah.
But I mean, we played outside,
Yeah.
played with the neighbors. We spent our days outside,
Yeah.
during the summer and after school, do homework,
All the stuff.
all the
Were
stuff.
you a good student?
I was a good student.
Did you
I
play
did.
sports or do anything like that?
No. There were not many sport options.
Well,
at the
I mean,
time,
were you a
unless
were
you
you a
were good.
cheerleader?
No, unless you were.
cheerleader.
I was in the band.
In the band, okay.
Unless you
that
were
makes
good
sense.
at basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Girls. That was about.
Yeah, basketball was about it.
There was no soccer.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there was even softball for girls.
I remember when soccer started getting here, I'm like, nobody wants to play soccer.
Oh,
But they do.
yeah.
Yeah, it's huge, I know.
But I took music. We all took piano lessons when we were
Oh, yeah.
growing up. And
Who was your piano teacher? Who
well,
did you take piano
I-
lessons from?
Miss Sadie Looney.
Yeah?
She was a 2nd grade teacher at Ingram South.
Okay.
She was the organist at Cumberland Presbyterian Church.
Okay.
And my mother's family went to Cumberland Presbyterian Church.
And you still go there?
Now, I got to Coleman.
Coleman, I'm sorry.
My dad's family went to Coleman.
Okay, okay.
And so when they married,
Yeah, I got them confused.
yeah.
I was visualizing the right building.
the right
but I
building,
was,
yeah.
had the wrong name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
it's y'all are at
Coleman Methodist.
Coleman, which is on North Military there.
It is.
Yes, yes. Well, very good. So you've been going there for a long time.
All my life.
Yeah.
Went to Paul and I lived in White House for 3 years. Taught up there,
Yeah.
both of us, and then he went to law school. So we were in Birmingham for 3 years, and then came back to Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
So, and I went to Peabody College in
Is that
Nashville.
Where is that where you met Paul?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's
I,
where
of
we
course, I
met.
talked to Paul a while back.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys met while you were in school.
We did.
Yeah. And you
did.
drug him back home with you.
I did.
Good for you. Good for you. It's no better place to live than here, and I'm sure he figured it out.
Right.
That's good. That's good. So, but now church life, you guys have been actively involved in that for now. Do you play at church too, or have?
I do. When I was in high school, our church used to have services on Sunday night. We don't anymore, and we haven't had for a long time.
Yeah.
But I started out playing the piano on Sunday night,
Okay.
and Mr. J. Robert Hood
I've heard of him.
went. You've heard of him? Huh?
I've heard of him.
Went to Coleman, and he would lead the singing
Yeah.
at church on Sunday nights. So, of course, he and Stanley and
Yeah.
that whole family,
Yeah.
went to Coleman. So I really I got a pretty good dose of
Yeah.
of music there, and then I played organ my last 2 years in high school at Coleman
Okay.
before going to Peabody.
Now you were in the band. What did you play in the band? Because you can't tote a piano
Alto
around.
sax,
Alto
and then I was a
sax.
majorette.
And a majorette. Okay.
Alto sax concert band.
I think you're Katie, your sister.
Yes, yes.
She was in high school when I was,
She plays flute.
and she was a majorette too.
Yes,
Yeah.
we all four were majorettes.
Okay. Very good. There's 4 of you.
There's 4 of us. My oldest sister and I,
Yeah.
we're only about 18 months apart, but I
Okay.
keep saying oldest sister, Kathy.
Oh, so there's Kathy.
Kathy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Gosh, how's she doing?
She's doing good.
Good.
She's doing good. They're coming in April for a visit. So
Very good. Very good. I haven't
Yeah.
seen her in a long, long time. So there's Kathy, and then
Me.
and then you, Charrie,
and then Christy.
and then Christy. Now where's Christy?
Christy's married to Mike Bottoms.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm getting it figured out now.
And you need a flow chart.
Yeah, I need a flow chart.
And Katie.
And Katie. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Katie was in high school when I was.
Okay.
So I knew of you, but
Yeah.
didn't know you then.
Yeah.
I got to know you after I got to know Paul. So it's his fault.
It's his fault. That's right. We'll blame it on
Yeah,
him,
so
won't
it's
we?
his fault. That's
we'll
right.
blame it on him.
Very good. So then you guys married, and do you have kids yourself?
Our daughter Sarah
Yes.
lives one street over from us.
Yeah.
Yes, she works at Smelter Corporation in Mount Pleasant.
Familiar with that?
Been there a good while.
Yeah.
She is the HR person there, and so we tease her about being Miss HR in charge.
Yes. Miss HR in charge.
She's really good. She's really good at her job.
Great.
And then, of course, JP.
JP.
I
Paul
call
Jr.
it, John Paul to me.
Yeah, John Paul and a
Then
lot of people know him as
JP,
JP.
and then Jack, or that's his other alias. But with he has started, this Southern Roots
Yes.
radio.
That's right. Got to work with JP some myself
Yeah.
here, and of course he stayed in the industry, so to speak. And
He's still got his yeah.
he's still got his finger and toes
That's right.
in the media.
That's right.
That's right. So, and let's talk about him for just a second, or how can people tune in and listen to him if they want to? Southern Roots Radio.
Southern
I know.
Roots Radio. It's 360 live. It's live stream,
Yeah.
and they go.
Yeah, I've tuned in. It's good stuff. It's the kind of stuff I like.
It is,
Yeah.
and he works with Brenda Lynn Allen
Mm-hmm.
and Maggie Keller in Columbia,
Yeah.
both performers, and
Now I know you and Paul. Paul has been very much involved in music too. He does choir and he can organize a choir. You are the instrumentalist, the pianist, and can keep things rolling there. What about your children? Do they play?
they do. They both studied piano.
Yeah.
John Paul has a little bit. He picks it up by ear
Yeah.
a little bit, and Sarah was a very good pianist.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, good.
she could read music very well. She sang with the Birmingham Southern Choir,
Good.
and so that they've stayed in it, and
Yeah.
that's all I can ask
Right.
is that they experience that, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's good. Hey, keep it a
You
part
know.
of keep it a part of their lives.
right, right.
Because I'll tell you, as much as we enjoy music, there's not many people make their living in music.
It's very difficult. You have to have the right set of
Yeah.
circumstances and
Yeah.
right place and right time. I mean, you have to put the work in. There's
Right.
no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And
But it's not about that, really.
No.
For most of us, it's about just enjoying maybe the expression, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Church music for most of us is where we participate the most.
well, I'm still organist at Coleman, and I just
You just love it.
love it.
Yeah, yeah. and with good reason. Very good. And you know what? I just thought about this. You recorded.
I do have a recording.
You have a record. I just
I
remembered.
do. I don't have one with me.
You don't have
but
it with you, but I have
No.
it. I have a copy. I have a copy, and it's so good. Tell us about that. How'd that come about?
Well, it's just something I had always wanted to do, and mainly to just have something down, something tangible that I could
Yeah.
listen to, and James Gordon Freeze
Yes.
we talked about it for a long time, and we finally got to the point where we, felt like we could do it.
Yeah.
And he produced it. He was really
Yeah.
a big help,
Yeah.
in doing that. And but now I'm telling you, I worked at it. I really, really worked at it.
So what's
a
that
lot.
like? I mean, I've never actually, I've been in studio
Recording?
when some recordings were being done, but I wasn't behind the work on it. So what's it like to actually, end up producing something?
Well, when we did the CD that I recorded in we did two different sessions. The first session about 5 hours,
Yeah.
I think. Second one not quite as long.
Yeah.
But I knew what I was going to do, going into it. And so, we just started, and he would make suggestions along the way. And
Sure.
and then the, controlling
Yeah.
the recording of it. There's so much they can do now. If you want to go back and do something else, you don't have to completely start over. You can just blip in at a
Pretty
certain
amazing.
point. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and add something or take something out or whatever. So
I've heard these stories of people doing them, and they do it all in one take. And it's like, well, that was
Now-
perfect. We're not going to do it again. I bet you had it.
the first song that I did, I think we did about three
Yeah.
takes on that one, and then after that but that was just getting used to to do it. Now I've been in recording sessions before, but not playing.
Right.
Paul and I sang with a group in college and did backup
Okay.
session work,
Yeah.
so I was accustomed to that, but not playing just myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but
Was it intimidating a little?
just in the beginning,
Yeah.
a little bit, but then we got on a roll there and got going, and
Well, James is certainly comfortable in
yes,
the studio.
oh yes,
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
yes, and
he probably got you at the point where you needed to be.
he did.
Yeah,
He
well,
did.
I've listened to the CD, and I can attest that it's wonderful.
So, but I chose some of the songs because I had always played them.
Yeah,
I chose some simply because I liked them.
yeah,
I chose some because they were different.
yeah.
And I did one that was just totally out of the box for me.
And which
but
one
I
was that?
loved the song. Help Me Make It Through the Night.
Oh yeah.
I love
remember
Anne
that.
Murray's version of that.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And, so I listened and listened and listened and listened and listened. And,
Well, that brings
A
me
lot,
to
a lot of preparation
that
for
brings
it.
me to another question.
Okay.
I know you like music. Is there a particular genre that you like the most?
Not the most, of course. Church music. You know, I do. I do a lot of hymns, but I do a lot of classical
Yeah,
music as well.
yeah.
Because I got my degree. My organ was my major instrument.
Oh, really?
So I got my degree in music education with organ being my major instrument. So I had to do a recital.
Yeah,
So, I learned a lot of classical organ music there.
yeah,
Now, I don't use a lot of that in church. I try to play what I like, and then what I think others would want
Yeah.
to hear, and what will fit the service.
sure, sure.
That's real important to me to not be a standout, but to move the service
Yeah,
along to aid everybody else in their
right.
worship. So I love that, but I love the Eagles.
Well, when you mentioned the Eagles, you know music enough to appreciate musicianship, no matter what,
Yeah.
no matter what the genre.
Yeah.
You tune in and realize the work that it takes to play that well.
Well, it is a lot about work ethic, and
Yeah.
and you got to have it.
Yeah.
You just got to have it. I was fortunate enough to see a concert live of Elton John and Billy Joel together,
Oh my Lord, yeah.
and
They can
I'm telling you,
play a piano.
two totally different
Yeah, they're different.
people in the way they do their music. But oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then we saw Elton John a couple of more times too.
Yeah. Oh, he's a super talent, no doubt.
And went to hear Pavarotti
Oh Lord.
at Bridgestone. And,
Really?
And just, so I like, I don't know that I can say there's one that I really,
Yeah.
and it depends on where I am and
Yeah.
and,
Well,
and
that's
what
the
the
beauty. That's
circumstances
the
are.
beauty of music, and being able to say, a music appreciation, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm very eclectic. I mean, I might be listening to big band one day. I might be listening to jazz one day, bluegrass the next.
Well, we've had the Glenn Miller
Oh, I
Orchestra
love
several
them.
times,
Yeah.
and I love that too. It's just
yeah. I brought my kids to it and made them sit there. I said, "Y'all gonna like this." I said, "Y'all
you
gonna
are
love
gonna
it."
like this.
And and they did. They did.
Yeah.
Of course, they're young and they're impatient. So after about halfway through, they were like, "Daddy, can we go?" I'm like, "Nope, we're not leaving. I'm staying right here." But I'm I just like it. So it's very good. It's just depending on the mood, like you're talking about. You just love it.
Well, I played at church for so long. I don't know what else I do. I don't,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I do try to keep it fresh, and I try to keep, I work at it and try to keep it where I think it is of meaning to to others.
Yeah.
And then I like to just sit down and play
Yeah.
piano. Just sit down and play whatever comes to mind.
Well, I mentioned, you being so connected to the community and have been your entire life, your family, you as an adult, teacher, you've influenced so many people. You really, really have. And I wanted to mention something that I remember because there was a year, and I don't remember the year, that you were voted and given Citizen of the Year with the Chamber of Commerce.
very honored.
The Chamber of Commerce. Well deserved. And like I said, I don't remember the year, but I remember, I think I was actually there. And you were given that honor. Do you remember what led up to that, the year that led to that? What was happening?
I don't remember specifically. I feel like that honor was basically just a combination of things I continue to do, year after year.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it was a recognition of your contribution over many years, and not just one, but many years, and still are. How about that?
How do you stop?
Yeah, and I'm and I'm really
as long as you
thankful.
can.
I'm really thankful that you agreed to come in here this morning.
Well,
I want to. We've got about 10 minutes left, and I want to circle back.
Okay.
To your work with the theater, unless there's something else that you'd like to tell.
Well, on that note, we our board, as I call it, we have just completed.
Yeah. I don't know if someone wants to talk to you or not, but sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes people call in, and sometimes it's just a total mistake. Well, let's see. Hey, good morning. You're on WDXE with us.
Yes, I just wanted to call and tell Charrie how much I value her friendship.
Hang on just a second. Say that one more time.
I wanted to call and tell Charrie how much I value her friendship, and being an organist, how wonderful I think it is that she plays every Sunday like she does at the Coleman Church, and how lucky they are to have her.
Oh, how
if you
sweet.
don't know who this is, Charrie.
I do. Thank you so much.
We are a dying breed. We've discussed it.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
And it's a joy to hear Charrie play the organ. I know she likes the piano, but the organ is my venue, and she is wonderful.
Awesome.
So are you.
Hey, thank you for calling.
Yes, thank
All right.
you.
God bless, bud. Very good. So you know.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Well,
do
see,
know.
that's just another example of someone among many who are blessed and influenced by the things that you've done and still do.
Well, and I will say, as I go different places, I have people, they'll say, "Hi, Miss Plant, do you remember me?" Just all the time. And some I do, but, when I had them, they were little. And then I said, "Well, I'm sorry, but you may have to help me a little here," and they tell me who I are. And then I really do remember, who they are. But
I get a dose of that every once in a while with Teresa.
That's a joy, though, to hear that. I did want to mention that we have completed the backstage renovation at the theater. And our board has been working on this for a long time.
Yeah.
Several years. And that has been completed, and we are having a chamber ribbon cutting for that on Wednesday, March 27th at 9 a.m.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So anybody that would like to come and see that, is welcome. And we're very proud that we've gotten to that point. That was, we used to help manage and do that, and the city was gracious enough to let us complete.
Oh yeah.
That renovation, and it's one room is called the green room, where people just hang out. But this, what we have completed now is dressing rooms, bathrooms, that area.
Yeah.
Right off the stage.
Yes.
So we are really excited about that, and I just wanted to mention that because
Excellent. I know that a lot of work, a lot of time and effort from the board and others. It takes a lot of money to actually make stuff like that happen.
So we're very proud of that, and glad to get that done, because it will be much nicer for performers that come into the Crockett Theater.
Right. How far ahead are you having to plan to get quality performances in?
Well, when the new year rolls around, you need to start.
Yeah.
And we try to get started as soon as we can.
Sure.
And get it completed by early summer.
Yeah.
So we like to do. We tried something different this year. We did 3 events at the Crockett Theater, and then we did 2 events at the Reserve for our season ticket holders and our sponsors, because we wanted to do something special for them.
Sure.
And so we were able to have music performers that, might not be just a great fit for the theater, but in a smaller venue, absolutely wonderful. And I think that has been a success. I think people enjoyed it. I know I did. And so we're just trying, different things.
Outside of the performance series, can someone else book an event? And
yes.
So I was going to ask.
It is
about
not
that.
exclusive to us.
Yeah.
No.
So if we wanted to have an event, or somebody did, or put on an event, it's available to do that.
Yes, you call Miss Pam.
Okay. All right. And that's at the Parks and Recreation.
Pam Hyde at the Parks and Rec.
Yes.
She does the booking, and
Okay.
I don't know what we'd do without her. She's wonderful and keeps track of it and
so
takes care of it. And it's been that way.
Now,
we only book the Lawrenceburg Community Theater.
right, the community
Books
theater does
shows
book
there,
shows, and you got
and promoters sometimes call and want to come in and book a show. And so
that's the word I was looking for, a promoter.
That's always available.
Now, is there a cost?
Yes.
I'm sure there is.
Oh, yes.
Because there has to be. It has to be maintained. It has to be cleaned. It has to be all those things. So there's a certain cost to access the theater
And contract.
and contract. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue what that is. Do you?
The cost?
Yeah.
I think it's around $1,000.
Okay. Well, it's not bad.
It's
not really bad at all. Okay.
And if you're using it more than one night, there may be
Yeah.
a little break on that.
So this August, I could have my birthday party there and invite all my friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, sir.
Would you play?
Well, sure, I would be
Okay.
delighted to.
All right, there we go.
I would be delighted to.
Yeah, that would work. You could come and play. There you go. Well, let's remind everybody one more time about what's coming up next.
Okay.
And let's do that while we've got just a couple of minutes. And that is the fact that William Lee Golden and the Goldens are coming Thursday, April the 11th. Is that right?
That's correct.
And they have a huge show. Tell us about that one more time, because you've seen the show.
I've seen it twice, and I almost saw it 3 times. I think they performed in Florence as well.
Yes,
But
yes.
anyway, it's a family affair, so to speak. William Lee Golden, who is part of the Oak Ridge Boys, and I think they're winding up their tour soon.
He's still touring with them.
He's still touring with them, so they always have to keep that in mind. So Thursday night works out really good, for them and for us too. But he and 2 of his sons and granddaughter, sometimes grandson, and then other players, join him, and they do a combination of gospel, country, pop, just various songs that fit in various categories. Very entertaining show, and they go at it for a couple hours.
Well, I am
straight.
really looking forward to it. We plan to be there, and I hope that you can. Everybody that's listening, if you haven't gotten tickets already, I would get them ahead of time. I think this is one that's going to fill the theater. I really, really do. The phone number, if you'd like to call, is 762-4213. But
4231.
I'm sorry, 4231. I say it backwards. 4231. But you can go by the ticket office at the Lawrenceburg Recreation Center there in Rotary Park. And, of course, you can go on lawrenceburgtn.gov and see more right there. Miss Charrie Plant, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you for
in.
having me.
I appreciate it so much, on short notice especially. And but
it's been fun.
But it's been a great pleasure having you.
Short notice is probably better.
Thank you so much again, okay?
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
For what?
Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan tells Fox Business.
It was for access to the brand and the brand.